Hey guys, what's up? It is Scald or yeah. What's up, guys? It is Scald or Hunter, whatever you guys know me by. I'm just making a quick video today to talk about some things that I've been noticing within the, I guess, tier 3 to tier 1 scene. And I would just like to clarify that I'm not in the tier 1 or tier 2 scene. This is just stuff that I've noticed. So one thing that I feel like is a big problem is there are a lot of misconceptions that people that are coming from CS are just automatically going to be better than people who aren't. Um, the problem with that is that you can literally look at the pro scene and see there's a mixture of tons of different communities. There are PUBG communities, there are Overwatch, CS, Fortnite. Like, there's a bunch of people who came from different games who have different strengths based on the game that they played. I will agree with that, but there's just certain things that you know don't translate from every game. So I think there is kind of like a stigma around that, and I think that it's something that you can't just come over from CS as a mid-level semi-pro player and just be a god at Valorant. It's not how it works. I played CS for a very long time. I was in main advanced, and I did not come over here and immediately find success. To be honest with you, I still haven't found success. I'm chilling in Immortal. My team is brand new, and we haven't really done much yet. But you kind of just have to understand that the more you play, the more practice you put in that's actually worth your time is going to make you a better player and a better teammate. Which I'm actually going to dive into how to be a better ranked teammate in the next video. So that'll be more elaborated more on in the next video. So being an actual team player in a team environment is a lot different than being a team player in ranked, being a better individual player. Within a team, there are certain aspects that you can do that are for sure going to make you a better all-around player, and there are things that you can do that are going to make you a better team player. Some key points in being a team player is going to be communication. And what I mean by that is not just saying, hey, there's 2C. I have one flash. One flash. Like, that kind of stuff doesn't really help as much. Things that you're going to want to calm is if you see like 3C on Haven, call out what agents they are if you know. Hey, I see Phoenix, Sova, Jet. They're all C. That gives your teammate, and especially your IGL, if you're not IGLing, a little bit more of an idea as to what plan they may have, what kind of split they're trying to do. If they're just defaulting, maybe that's what they do every time. There's just a lot of things that you can do that are more important than just saying numbers, which is something I see a lot. And that, I feel like, is a bad habit that came from CS to Valorant. People are more willing to just say numbers because it's what you did in CS, because you're not going to say somebody's name based on where you see them because you can't know. You're not going to say, hey, agent 2415 is long B, because in CS you obviously don't know anybody's name. So that's one thing about communication that's really important. Another part of communication that's really important is going to be the ability to take initiative and actually call out certain things. For example, if you're in a 4-on-4 retake situation and nobody's really calming or calling, you can make that step up, because not everybody on the team is going to be comfortable taking that step, but you can. It just takes some time to learn how to do it. So let's say you're on Haven again and you're trying to retake A site and you're playing Sova. You can call that you're going to double shock dart the plant before it happens. If they've already got the bomb down, you can call when you're going to dart and who needs to flash on your dart, where the dart's going to clear. Even if you're not Sova and you're playing Phoenix, you can say, hey, I'm going to flash out right side, let's swing right side, have one person look left. You're not necessarily micromanaging, and you don't necessarily have to make the comms in that order. You can say, hey guys, I'm going to flash. Can we get an Omen flash on default? Can we get a Sova dart above, graffiti? Like, you can ask your teammates questions, and you can also tell your teammates what to do, and that's not necessarily the job of an IGL. It can be any player on the team. In fact, the initiative and the taking the time to actually step up and be that kind of leader, I guess, in that situation is what your teammates should be doing. You should never have one person calling all the strats, calling all the retakes, setting everything up. It should be somebody that's actually helping with the mid-round adaptation, and I feel like every person can do that, but everybody has to respect what the IGL's final say-so is, because they are kind of the end-all, be-all, I feel like, within a strat. And communication, the reason why it's so important to know, so let's actually say that they're playing with a Phoenix and Phoenix throws both flashes. It's really important for everybody to be able to keep up with that because that's going to help you guys on your retake or on your site take, anything like that, because you know what kind of utility they have for a retake or a post plant. So that's another aspect that's really, really important that you can actually know based on the agent that they're playing, which is a little bit different than other games because you can't really tell what abilities they have left. You can't really tell like how they're going to coordinate that. But in Valorant, you know what abilities they have and based on how many they've used. And then if you don't know how many abilities they bought that round, then you can just assume and do your best to understand that. Last kind of communication issue that I see a lot of people have, and this is in ranked and in team play, a lot of people will call out where they think somebody is. For example, if you're in a 1v2 and somebody says, hey, I think they're both garaged, but they don't know that, if you make that call and say, hey, two are flanking you CT, but you don't know that, that is one of the worst comms you can make. I call it ghost comms. I don't know if that's what other people call it. I'm pretty sure it is. But if it's not, then I apologize, but that's what I call it. Backseating with somebody when they're in a 1v2 like that, it doesn't matter what situation you're in, it's going to be bad. It's not what you want to do. So anytime you make a communication to your teammate that you don't know is true, you're literally you can throw that round for your teammate. Another thing is like, hey, you should plant for long, go long. Certain people don't play well in those scenarios, so you should never be backseating to tell your teammate what they need to be doing. That's another thing that's a very prominent thing within Diamond, Immortal, and Radiant ranks, and even on some teams. I've played on some teams where that's a big issue. So just try your best not to backseat. One thing that's really important to know about this game, people who come over here think that they can just do it because it looks easy online, whatever the case may be. There's just a lot of misconceptions within Valorant. And I think in order to be really good at this game, you have to be dedicated. You have to be dedicated to improving your aim. You have to be dedicated to learning lineups, spending time in the lab, things of that nature as well. Simply getting on and playing the game isn't going to make you a better player. You have to really take the time to practice certain things in DMs, practice certain things in ranked, work on your communication, work on lineups. It's not as simple as getting on and playing the game, which is the same thing for every game, but it's even more important in Valorant because there's so many different aspects of this game compared to other games. You have to learn lineups for each agent. If you're trying to be like a flex player, you have to know lineups for each flex that you're going on to. You have to work on your aim. If you're horrible at tapping, you need to spend time learning how to tap. If you're horrible at spraying, don't get me started on the Vandal spray, but if you're horrible at spraying, you should obviously learn how to spray as best you can. And there's just certain situations that you really need to take the time to adapt and learn to. And if you're not taking that time and you're just queuing ranked because you're good at aiming, then you're not going to get anywhere. And then obviously if you're not good at aiming, which has been my problem for a very long time, you're not going to get anywhere until you take the time to actually put it into DMing and doing Kovacs, aim labs, whatever you prefer, which isn't fun. I think everybody understands that spending time in the lab learning lineups is not fun, but in order to make it that next level, it's not about just playing a lot, it's about perfect practice. So a lot of people will say practice makes perfect, but if you're not practicing properly, you're not going to get any better because you're not actually taking the steps. You're essentially wasting your time. You're not taking the steps that it's going to make the practice perfect. You don't want to just be mindlessly DMing. You don't want to be mindlessly just sitting in the lab throwing shock darts if you're one, not even remembering them, if it's not like a realistic scenario to put yourself in. That's not good practice because you're never going to be able to use it. You've essentially just wasted 20 minutes of your life trying to find a lineup that's completely useless. There are always good lineups to put in the back of your pocket. There's always good flashes that you can throw. There's always mechanics you can learn when you're by yourself, but if you're not actually going to put them into use in the game, there's literally no point in doing it. So that's another thing that I see a lot. Another thing to understand is progress doesn't happen overnight. You're not going to immediately hop into the game and be the best player in the world. You're not going to DM for a week and just instantly see better results in your aim. Sometimes you can and sometimes you won't. It's not something that's supposed to happen overnight. So you have to understand that progress is literally a process. It takes so much time to get to the level that some of these professional players are at. And a lot of people get discouraged because they just see them playing in tournaments and they're like, oh my God, I've been DMing for a month and I'm still not as good as they are. A lot of those people have been playing first-person shooters for a very long time, and they've been playing games professionally for a very long time. So to assume that you're going to get that good just based off of DMing and spending time within the game is not, you can't do that instantly, and you won't do it overnight. The more time you spend, the more perfect practice you're doing every single day, that's when you're going to see those results, and it does take a lot of dedication to get to that level. That's basically it, guys. I know this video was pretty long-winded, and if you stuck around to hear everything, I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions on any things you want me to elaborate on, feel free to ask. Once again, I will say I am not this perfect player. I am not the person you're going to see on the big stage right now. I am going through the same thing that I just explained to you guys and trying to use that perfect practice to make me better and work on my aim. And it's something that everybody can do. It doesn't matter if you're silver, gold, iron, plat, diamond. I'll just go through the whole list of ranks. It doesn't matter what rank you are. You can still use this kind of theory and this kind of understanding to make you better, because you're not going to be hard stuck wherever you're at right now for the rest of the time, as long as you're making the steps to get better. Sorry, there was a bug in my face. So you just have to take that time. Just understand everything does take time. So I wish you guys luck. If you guys ever need advice, any questions, like I said, just feel free to ask me. You can ask me in a comment. You can message me. I'll link my Twitter. You can DM me there. But yeah, I want everybody to be better. I want North America to be the best region. So if you're from EU, I hope you get better, but I still hope North America beats you in tournaments. But yeah, I just want you guys to understand sometimes different things can help you. And I'll be making more videos in the future. But if you like this, obviously throw me a like. If you hated it, dislike it so I can figure out what I'm doing wrong. But yeah, you guys have a great rest of your day or night, whatever time it is where you're watching this. And yep, see you soon.